So for years, I was absolutely broke. And I went into trading from a position of pressure, position of wanting it to work. That made me even more broke. But then when I started to understand trading, I started to make a little bit of money. I thought I'd conquered this. I encountered something much, much worse. And many of you are going to relate to that. And this was revenge trading. Now, revenge trading made me more broke than when I was broke before, because I kept winning. And then when I went for a spell of revenge trading, I lost everything. And there wasn't no prop firms or anything like that at the time. It was my own capital. So revenge trading with your own capital was revenge trade, lose the money, go and earn some money from somewhere else, refill an account, revenge trade, lose money. And it was this constant cycle of revenge trading. And I could not understand why I kept doing this. I was disciplined in every other area of my life, but why did I keep self-sabotaging and revenge trading, which ultimately put me on tilt and I would lose everything? Now, the reason I'm doing this video is because I believe that it's the number one obstacle in your success in trading. Nearly every trader that I work with, every trader that I ask questions, revenge trading, tilt, revenge trading. And for me, it was the biggest problem. It was the biggest hurdle. When I thought I cracked it, 3 or 4 bad days or a week of revenge trading, everything was completely blown out the window. And in this video, I want to cover 2 things that I think for me have been a game changer, and for people that I've gave this advice and these tips and these kind of tasks to do, okay? Number 1 is patience. Now, I know you're going to say, well, of course, Fran, everything's patience. Yes, that's right. Everything is patience. But let me see if you can relate to this. When I was younger and I wanted to be whatever I wanted to be, I always wanted it very, very quickly. I was like a spoiled brat. I wanted everything so quickly that it's like no one could even give me the time to even prepare to give it me. I just wanted to take whatever I wanted to take. I wanted everything to go my way. I wanted everything that I wanted there and then. Instant gratification. And this was way before social media, where now people can swipe for a date or swipe for their food. And if they're not happy, they go and 2 minutes later, go and choose something else. This is way before social media. I just wanted instant gratification. That then became a problem in my 30s because everything I wanted, I just kept pushing and I got. So when it came to trading, it doesn't work like that. So I had this real big problem of not being able to have delayed gratification. But before we continue, I've got an announcement. On the 14th of July, we're going to do our Scalable Trader webinar. That's right, Scalable Trader, because most people in this game can just not scale. Now, what we're going to do in that webinar, it's going to be around 60 minutes, maybe even longer. It is free, so make sure you hit that link. But what we're going to cover is the simple way of how I trade, how I've taught many people to use their skills to take money out of the market, and you can take that away for free, how I trade and how I show the community. So if you want to become a scalable trader, hit that link below, go and watch the video. It's about 6 minutes long, book your seat, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Now, as you grow and as you grow as a human, you want to go slower, you want to live a slower way. And you understand that delayed gratification is where the real power, the real strength, the real love, the real relationship happens, in that delayed gratification. And at first, it's not going to go your way. In fact, for many, probably weeks, months, years, might not go the way that you want. But if you keep going to become the character and dealing with that pressure along the way and that patience, it's going to happen. So let's think about this in trading. If you don't lack patience, and you're in a losing trade, ultimately you're going to instantly say to yourself, well, I want that money back. That's the gap between the stimulus and your action. And that gap is what causes 95% of the people to make bad decisions through their life. Now, there will be times where you really think about that. And in that gap, you still convince yourself to go ahead with what you want. That, my friends, is what I'm going to go on to point 2. Now, well, point 3, should I say. Now, if you don't understand patience, forget it. You might as well come off this video right now and forget about it. If you do understand that patience is what's going to give you everything that you want in life, then stick around, because point 2 is really going to help you. So think about it. Patience, delayed gratification, not instant gratification like the TikTok generation or whatever generation is below me. Take your time and let things form. Let the trades come to you and execute by having patience. Now, number 2 is this: hate losing. If you hate losing, which most traders do, you are going to have one hell of a ride around revenge trading, because nobody likes losing. Who likes losing? It doesn't make sense to us as humans, especially if you're competitive, especially if you're a winner, especially if you want control. Nobody wants to lose. Nobody wants to be told no. Nobody wants to feel like they're coming second, because we just feel like a failure. Even though second might be good at some things, even though that no might be good for us, we do not like failure. So when the markets go against us, even when it's our own setup, we cannot wrap our head around it. And that, my friend, causes you then to go on tilt via revenge trading. So how are you going to stop that? Well, number 1, you must learn to lose. How do I learn to lose? You take 20 trades where you keep your stop loss where it is and you keep your TP where it is, or you manage the trade however you manage it, like I do. Take the pivot, move stop loss to entry. But whatever you do, you must stick to your rules. Now, what's going to happen here is you're going to lose trades even when the trade was a top setup. You're going to lose a trade even when it felt like the most perfect trade that you could ever take. And you need to be self-aware that that is part of the process. And that, my friend, is losing. You will get to a stage where losing does not feel bad anymore, because you know that this loss is for a winning cause. Now, number 3, which is the most important thing, which is how am I going to be better at patience? How am I going to be better at losing? And this, my friend, is what you're going to hear me talk about quite a lot, because I'm studying it a little bit more myself, is identity shift. You will never be able to get where you need to get to in any area of your life if you don't have an identity shift. Now, the identity shift is going to be hard. Why? Because it's within you from a very, very young age. Your patterns, your environments as a child, all these types of things. These are behaviors that you have. And these behaviors will pop up every so often. I've talked about this many, many times. But what actually happens is, over time, you become aware of these behaviors and then have the skill and the self-awareness to snap out of those behaviors. Now, will they go completely? I don't even know if we're on the planet enough for them to go completely, especially if you're starting at my age. However, what they will do, they will be diluted and they will not happen as often. And you will be able to talk yourself out of it, get a grip of yourself, and then say, well, I'm not willing to compromise. There is a non-negotiable. Now, that is an identity shift. So how do you get better at losing? Well, you have to put yourself in a position where losing becomes part of your identity. In trading, how do I get better at patience? You have to do things, delayed gratification, make yourself wait for things, sit on timers on your charts where your character then develops patience. So one thing that I'm doing at the moment is I'm trying to cultivate a life where I want to live a slow life, which means no chasing dopamine, no wanting to do everything all of a sudden, not trying to look for that instant gratification. So if I can live slow, it means that my trading can become slower. I can become less, sit in trades, bigger profits, and slow my life down. That's what I'm trying to cultivate my character to be. Especially if you're been from the city and everything's 100 miles an hour, the lifestyle that I've had, that's a very, very hard challenge for me to do. But that's what I'm going to do to create a better character. Now, is there going to be obstacles along the way for you? Of course, there's obstacles along the way for me, and there always will be. But if you are trying to build something, and in this case, you are trying to become a better trader that needs patience, understands losing, does not want a revenge trade, because revenge trade, remember, is going to be your biggest obstacle and ruin your P&L over time, then you have to cultivate, design, and create a life that is going to match the type of trader that you want to be. Now, most of you watching this video already know me as a person, or my personality, and the way that I like to do things, whether that's calm, whether that's stoic, whether that's educational, because that's the type of person that I'm trying to become. So take it from me. It's going to take you a long time to become the person that you want to come overall in your life, but you will get there if you consistently work on the areas that you need to. And in trading, patience And learning how to lose is what's going to change the game for you. So if you need any help in anything like that, make sure you hit the link below. Make sure you check us out, and I'm sure that we can help you along the way.